President at Bella Advisors, joining us by telephone. Patrick, tell me a little bit about how you're feeling about this market. Certainly volatility has been evident. Do you think that will continue, and what do you see going forward?
Volatility is definitely going to continue, Nicole. And, even though we've seen a little bit of rally here in the last week or so in the markets, the tariff talk and all these different things that this current administration is doing is going to cause a lot of volatility and uncertainty in the market. So I think it's going to continue moving forward. So I think people need to be prepared for that and buckle up for this ride, because it's going to be a bumpy one this year.
Have you been seizing opportunity and feel that the dips were buying opportunities, or maybe the opportunity was to sell in the rallies? What say you?
I think it's a great time to be taking chips off of the table. And these are things that you hear about all the time when markets are down, that it's only a paper loss, but we're still really high, all-time market highs, in history going back a little bit. And it's only a paper gain. It's not a gain until you actually realize it and take some of those chips off of the table. So you're starting to see that in money going into gold and into treasuries right now. And you look at Warren Buffett, who's sitting on over $300 billion in cash right now. I mean, how often does this guy get things wrong? So I would pay attention to that. But there are great buying opportunities right now. I mean, like Elon or hate him, Tesla, being driven down so much over the last few months, I think long-term is going to be a good buy and buying these dips.
So a name like Tesla would be one that you would buy on a dip. I mean, we just had a death cross, I believe. I think the 50 went over the 200-day on Tesla. It did that once back in February of 2024, but it wasn't too bad. Sometimes it could be a bad omen about some of the momentum that we're seeing. But, for example, I mean, long-term, Tesla is not just a car company, right? It's energy storage, it's robots, and so much more.
So much more, and right now I think it's unfairly getting very undervalued right now and getting beaten up a little unfairly. So I think long term, I think it's going to be just fine. So not great if you're about to retire right now and betting all your chips on Tesla. That would be a little nerve-wracking right now. So I would definitely be diversifying. And things that I like right now are things that are very stable, like Berkshire Hathaway, B shares. I think are very good. Think value companies, companies that you can really close your eyes in 5 years from today. They're going to be doing well.
Right, and we saw Warren Buffett shoring up a ton of cash prior to this big sell-off, so he certainly looked like a genius. Not surprised. He is the Oracle of Omaha. He certainly has gotten it right throughout his career of many, many decades. What about gold and silver? Is that something that you like?
Absolutely. I like gold and silver a lot. And when we talked back in January, I thought it would hit 3,200. So I didn't think it was going to hit it quite this fast. But I think gold is really good, especially in fear-driven times when people are very fearful of what's going on and there's a lot of uncertainty. You tend to see a lot of money going into gold. And then for silver, I think that's a good play as well. I think, gold gets a lot of press, but silver doesn't get as much press. But it's going to be good when it comes to energy and electric cars and solar panels. There's a big supply for that. Or I'm sorry, big demand. So I think we're going to see silver doing very well also.
The White House is still out. I'm seeing some headlines just talking about China. You have, obviously, what's been going on, a major trade war, saying China basically needs to come and speak with us and get a deal done. EU, there were some headlines today on Bloomberg saying that the EU that had met with U.S. trade officials, there was little progress made. But there's over 100 countries that are working with our administration and trying to strike some deals. How do you feel about the back end of the year? Do you think we'll be higher at the end of the year in December, let's say, higher than where we are now?
I really think we will be. It's really going to be like a 12-round fight, and it's going to be up and down and up and down. But I think at the end of the year, I think we're still going to be standing. And long term, I think a lot of these moves that are being made is going to be really good for the economy, bring jobs back to the country, and leveling the playing field around the world. So it's going to be bumpy, especially with China. But you can see how quickly all these countries came back to the negotiating table as soon as these tariffs went into place. And what I thought was really good about the tariffs is that Trump went really high initially, putting the tariffs into place, saying we're going to basically do 50% of what other countries are charging us. And when he backed it off, and that he's going to back it off for 90 days, he's still, they're still charging a 10% tariff. So, and the markets reacted really well to that, even though, we're charging way more of a tariff than we were previously. So I think that's going to start bringing a lot of dollars in back to the country.
All right, Patrick Mueller of Bella Advisors. Thank you so much for being with us today. Glad you were here.